Well, hey, you guys, and welcome to another episode of The Unlocked Show. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson, and it's my pleasure to be here with you guys today on this very, I'm going to say, a little overcast Wednesday morning here on the Gold Coast of Australia. But I've got something pretty awesome for you guys today. My very special guest, who I have to say has got the most beautiful hair. I absolutely want it. I've told her she can take it off her, cut it off her head and send it all the way over here to me in Australia because I absolutely love it. Is the amazing Ashley-Ann Jones. And I cannot wait to hear what she's got to say about how we could go about building our social media to actually scale our businesses. So if you're someone like me who are, I'm going to sort of rewind a few years, who was posting on social media, not really knowing or understanding how it all worked, just kind of thought, I've got to do this. And maybe you're in the same situation now, not having a plan, not really knowing where to go, what to do, how to do it. Today's episode is absolutely for you because I'm going to say she calls herself also known as King Ashley-Ann. So she is the king of social media. And I'm very, very excited to have her here. So welcome, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here as well.
You're most welcome. Well, let's kind of tell. I know you've had like a huge amount of success with social media, not just personally, but you've also, helped your clients build their social media from kind of ground zero up to, 6 figures, 7 figures, and beyond. And you've had a lot of success in that area. Tell us, how did that all start? Like, when did you kind of realize that I've kind of got a bit of a gift here and I'm going to go down the route of helping other people with utilizing social media for the growth of their businesses?
Yeah, so actually, my very first company and how I made my first milli, I'm a luxury event designer and producer. And so I actually still, believe it or not, do luxury events. Not as many as I used to do. I'm working on retiring, so I'll probably be out in about 24 months or so. But that's how I actually realized that I was really gifted, specifically with like social media conversion and marketing. And then a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues and people outside of the industry would just always ask me questions about social. And it started to come a thing and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And so about 3.5 years or so into the planning and event design, that's when I decided that I should at least work as a consultant in marketing. It still took another 1.5 or 2 after that before I just said, well, I'm going to focus specifically on social and digital because, it took me a minute to realize a lot of people did not know what they were doing in that aspect and they needed a lot of help. Then this is years ago, it had to be at least 8-9 years ago. There's this app called Periscope. And during this time, people were running.
I remember.
They were in these worldwide campaigns, right? Which were these huge scams. And they would find small business owners and say, we'll do your Facebook ads, we'll do your marketing for you, we'll set up all that stuff. And people were, maxing out their credit cards. They were going into their 401ks. They were being responsible, trying to build their businesses. And at the time, the ads manager was called Power Editor. And it's really even more complicated and cumbersome than it is now. And they could take advantage of the fact that people didn't understand it. It was like trying to learn a different language when you were inside of there. And so what they would do is they would go and buy traffic from like tier 5 countries. So for those of you that don't know, different countries are categorized in tiers, like according to how they spend and the power of the dollar. So for instance, tier 1 is like Australia, America, Canada, UK, and so on, right? So let's say you live in Australia or let's say you live in the United States. It's not going to do you any good if somebody goes and purchases you a bunch of traffic from, let's say, like Lithuania or the Philippines or something like that. And this is what these people were doing. They would charge thousands of dollars and then they would come back to the business owner and say, well, look, we got you thousands of views. We got all this traffic to your page. We got all of this engagement. It's just your product. It's just your store. It's just your service. Clearly, people don't want it. The business owner does not know how to read the Power Editor, does not understand the reports. All they see are the vanity metrics. And they're just thinking like, man, I must really suck. I must be trash, right? And so this went on like for months and months and months. And literally there was a point like literally not almost every day I was hearing some horror story of someone that had spent thousands of dollars, couldn't recover, couldn't make money for their business, and they were on their way out. So I started utilizing Periscope in Facebook, and I would get on and just teach for free. I'd be like, I'm not going to charge you any money, just as long as you can get here. I was like, no, the caveat to this is you just got to get on when I can get on, which is typically late at night because I'm busy, working during the day. But I would just get on and just started teaching people. And then it went from teaching people about ads. People would ask me other things about business. So in general, I just started teaching about business, growth, development, targeting, all those things. And, the rest is kind of history from there.
And before you knew it, you're sort of, worldwide, teaching people all over the world how to do this stuff, right? How to take their knowledge, their skills, their expertise, package it all up, and then be able to share that with others. And I want to go down, in today's show, I also want to talk a little bit about, you've touched on this, these vanity metrics, because I think a lot of people, in the early days, you feel as though they meant something. The more likes I had, the more people I had visiting my page, that was great. But things have changed somewhat over, over the last couple of years. So do you want to elaborate on that? And what have you seen that has actually changed in terms of, being vanity to being able to create something that is really scalable and has meaning to it?
Yeah, it's really about the quality of your audience and like, are they really going to engage with you? And I'm not talking about a like. Doesn't take too much effort for somebody to double tap the screen. Are they going to leave a comment? Are they going to save your post? Are they going to send you a text? Will they send you a DM? If you put up a poll, will they participate in the polls, right? We're looking for true engagement. And what happens is people think that if they're popular, it means they make a lot of money. Not necessarily true if your audience isn't really engaged with you. I have people that come to me all the time, millions of followers, can't make any money, right? And then on the other side of that, I have clients right now that have only 500-600 followers, and they're steadily making $5,000 to $10,000 a month because they are focused on building up a target audience and just really, really, really quality content and getting people accustomed to engaging with them. And list building is your big key for that. So back in the day, people would just put so much weight into likes. They're like, oh my God, I just got 30,000 likes. Well, would you rather have 30,000 likes or $30,000, right? It's more important to me if someone sees my post and they actually act on my call to action to, go click the link in the bio or come to my website or get the download, right? Or they tap that link in the email and pull out their credit card and purchase from me. Well, if they went and took those actions, they probably didn't double tap because instead they clicked the link in the bio, right? And went to your website or your cart or whatever it is that you have set up.
Absolutely. So in terms of that, Ashley, when somebody, what is the secret sauce? Like when you talk about, I'm putting these posts out and I'm wanting, my desire is that people are going to actually click the link in the bio, or they're going to take the call to action, whatever it is that you're putting out there, that they're actually going to take, action on that rather than just double tapping and liking or hearting or, whatever the case may be and putting some fancy emoji there. What is the secret sauce to that? Like, is there a formula that really people can follow that helps them to understand that, hey, this is what I've got to do to create the right type of content that is going to attract the right type of audience for me?
It's not a formula. It's just being a good listener. I tell people all the time, you sell by listening, you sell by listening, you sell by listening. You can try all these gimmicks. You can try all these crazy tactics. You can, dress up like a chicken and dance around online and say, oh, I caught people's attention. And, they watch 60% of my video. Does not matter if you are not communicating with your audience in the language that they understand. So that actually means taking the words, the vernacular that they use, those should be the words that you're using. Finding out what people's desires, their pain points are, if they have questions, and trying to give an answer to that. And again, putting it in the language that they have, right? I see so many people just trying to create something and shove it down people's throats. That's not how it works. Your audience tells you what they want, and your job is to create it or source it. And if you have created something, well, now you got to find the tribe of people that wants that. And we do that by being a resource. Don't worry about being an expert. That's too much pressure. Just be a resource. You're going to give terms and definitions. We're going to give care instructions. We're going to talk about supplies. We're going to do behind the scenes. We're going to give, relatable stories. We're going to talk to people about how this is going to benefit them, what it can assist them with, the purpose of it is. If there's some type of celebrity or high profile, case or story that's broken and it's related to your business or what you do, you're going to talk about that and give your 2 cents and explain to people what's happening with it. Also, that you can be a resource. So now you've attracted people that have a genuine interest in whatever it is that you have to offer. That's major. That's how we make money online. Gimmicks, yeah, you're going to get a couple of likes, but people aren't going to purchase from you.
I'm so pleased that you've said this. And, you might think it's not a secret sauce, but, that is the secret sauce in terms of, listening. And I'm glad that you really mentioned this about building relationships and really, sometimes we just have to zip it and really listen to what are people saying, reading the comments, and like you say, using the vernacular and the same words back to them. And that way, that audience is going to feel as though you really, really know them. So I think that's a fantastic tip for when you're creating your own content, to first put something out, see what your audience has actually come back at you with, and use some of that wording in your responses, because that's how people know, A, that you actually listen to what they were saying, B, that you understand them and you actually really care about who they are and what they're about. So I love the fact that, you've talked about these things. There's so many elements to what you just spoke about, though, in terms of the types of content that can be created, behind the scenes, the relatable stories, the, what's hot right now, the challenges that people are facing, all of those sorts of things are all really important factors, right? And those are the things that matter to our audience. So once you've kind of got, someone's starting at ground zero, or they're starting with, say, less than 1,000 followers, because you spoke about, there's this myth or this perception that if you've got a huge amount of followers online, that equals, dollars. And you mentioned we want to be working on list building. So we want to talk about list building. But before we do that, I want to talk about this concept of being able to understand or create an audience. So how does somebody go about kind of launch padding from nothing to something in a short space of time by being able to share the information that you've just rattled off? Is the best way to go about that doing this type of thing, live streaming? Is it doing posts? Is it, doing a blog? What's the best way that you've found for people to create an audience?
A combination of things. Live streaming is definitely number one. I tell people that's the fastest way. You literally can go from zero to thousands of dollars in 4 to 6 weeks if you will live stream consistently. And they don't have to be long streams. They can be 10 to 20 minute streams where you're actually giving strategic content that's going to help, right? And then telling people, hey, if you know someone that needs this content, invite them to the next stream, right? Live streaming, definitely number one. Number two is if you can participate in panels that are happening live stream, or you come up with like a hit list, maybe 5 to 6 other people who have complementary products or services to yours, and you guys can live stream together, because now you're able to share some of their audience. You're able to introduce them to your audience, and you guys aren't competing with one another. Your products or services actually enhance each other's, right? So those are the first two easiest ways. Third is hashtags. I remember when I first started on social, I refused to hashtag. And then once I started hashtagging, I'm like, okay, this really does work. So hashtagging and actually properly like naming your pictures and using the alt text option, so that way the SEO works. Also, whenever you're doing like little stories and reels and little shorts, you're going to actually type those SEO keyword searches on the video, just make them small and drop them down in the corner. So that way, when someone's searching, you also pull up, okay? Utilizing the polls. Anytime you can get people to get engaged on a social media application, that app is going to send more people to you because you're keeping people on the app, which is helping them make money. So polls and almost any new feature that they drop, you need to go ahead, adopt it, learn it, figure it out. It's really important if you want your account to grow and develop, and you can attract, again, people that are going to be your right target audience, and then really like working out your stream. So like, let's say you have an email list, and let's say you stream, but everyone went in there. There's nothing wrong with sending an email and say, hey, just in case you missed yesterday's session, here it is in an email. I'm going to leave it up until midnight or until tomorrow for you to be able to watch. Here's a summary of what we talked about. Click here, session starts at the 8-minute mark or whatever that is, right? And then waiting 6 hours or the next day, changing the subject line and resending to those that did not open. If you have a Facebook group, or if you don't have a group, maybe you're inside of a group, go to the group owner, get permission first. Say, hey, I saw a lot of people asking about XYZ element of P. I actually have a really cool training on it. Is it okay for me to share it here, right? And then you can just drop it there and tell people, if you got questions, DM me, right? Super easy, effective ways to be able to monetize your pages and your streams and build an audience. But a lot of people aren't utilizing them, right? And it's really about being resourceful with your resources. And all those things that I mentioned don't even cost any money, right? But they'll make you a ton of money.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The great thing about everything that you've just spoken about there, none of that costs money. Not once did you talk about, doing some sort of paid advertising through Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere like that. This is all literally free, organic traffic, right?
Yeah.
It's creating all free stuff, all using the current platforms and utilizing the algorithms within that to help you get more visibility on on whatever it is that you're talking about. So I want to ask about this. So I want to delve a little bit deeper, because I know that some people will be wondering, well, hashtags, I don't really understand those. What do I need to do, and how do I know what hashtags I should be using? So do you want to explain to everybody sort of what is a hashtag, maybe the hashtag and the alt text options? Like, what do those two things mean, and how does somebody utilize them and know what to actually create as a hashtag?
Yeah, your hashtags are basically the way that people search for things online. And so a lot of people make the mistake. They're using more kind of branded hashtags, and those are okay to use as far as like to, maybe be able to capture user generated content, or to help, your audience or your tribe identify who you are. But we really want to start finding the hashtags of the sub communities or the cohorts that our ideal audience that they belong to, because those are the hashtags that they're using. And when they're searching that hashtag, we want our content to show up in front of them. Also, when we're getting into hashtags, if you don't know what hashtag to put up, go to the search bar and you're just going to search whatever topic it is that you're posting about, whatever it is that you do. Literally go and search and see what pulls up, and get out a little notepad, or you can use your computer, and you're going to track the popular hashtags. I always tell people to do, 5 to 10 really large hashtags, and you're going to use 5 to 10 medium utilization hashtags and 5 to 10 small utilization hashtags. And now you can put together all kinds of little combinations throughout the month. So that way your information, your face, your content is always showing up to these communities. You don't have to think about what the hashtag is. Just go, like, let's say, I don't know, maybe you sell natural soap or something. So you may literally go to Instagram or TikTok and put in natural soap. And you're going to see different stuff is going to start to populate. Maybe how to make natural soap for beginners, natural soap for eczema, natural soap for babies, whatever. And now you have the hashtags that you should be using, so that way people that are interested in natural soap will find your content.
I love that. And it's such a simple thing, right? When it's already there and it's available to us. But like you say, not very many people actually take advantage of the information that's readily available. So simply go, I mean, even on TikTok. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I know, TikTok being sort of the new thing, and you mentioned this earlier, dressing up like a chicken and dancing around like, headless chook or whatever. But, and a lot of people thought that that's what we had to do, particularly as a business owner. I know that there's been some resistance. It's slowly adapting, and those that have sort of twigged on that, hey, that's a place to go. There is a huge amount of opportunity there. They're in there now, but there's still a lot of resistance from business people, because of the fact that when the likes of TikTok first came out, it did seem to be young teenagers dancing and doing these sort of things. And when you're not, you're not that way inclined, that they get a little bit gun shy of going into somewhere like TikTok. So have you got any tips or strategies for people to utilize for starting out in TikTok?
Yeah. So first of all, TikTok is very anti-curation. Instagram is all about like these picture perfect lives and everything super amazing. Yeah, take that over to TikTok and they're going to run you up out of there. TikTok respects authenticity. They respect, real people, real opinions, real thoughts. TikTok, a lot of your content that's going to perform super well is you learning how to actually use the camera settings in your own phone, or maybe like a little Canon that you have, and setting up to track like your day-to-day life, the activities, what you're doing with clients. Even when there are trending topics that are floating around the app and you giving your opinion or your idea about it. Literally, you can put up a mount in your car and sit in there and talk to people and give your opinion about things, and you're going to find that you're going to attract so many new followers. So that's my first thing. Be authentic. Don't think that things have to be super polished. Don't think that you have to be an amazing editor or like a transition king or queen. You don't have to do any of that. There are people on TikTok that have humongous followings, and they literally just show their day-to-day life or what they're eating for breakfast. Cleaning, that's another big thing. People really like people just want to know how to do things.
Yeah.
So if you edit and you're like, this is my software, this is my process, this is how I go page by page, literally just turn on your live sometimes there with them and saying, oh yeah, y'all hang out with me while I edit my client's novel, right? Like literally simple. They are very, very focused on real, authentic relationships. That's number one. Don't go over there trying to create some dream world. You'll see a lot of people trying to go from like Facebook and Instagram into TikTok, and they are crashing and burning. Another good thing though about TikTok, that community will follow you to other platforms. So therefore you can easily get someone to join your text community. You can easily get someone to join your Discord or whatever you have set up. Maybe you want people to follow you on YouTube so you can get your numbers up because you're trying to monetize your page over there. Whatever it is though, they will happily follow. The third thing, using the font in TikTok and using their editor, they definitely are going to push you more when you're editing inside of the TikTok app. And also posting 4 times a day. I know it seems like a lot, but it's really not a lot. If you put up your initial post and when people come and comment, you literally just use the video response option to respond to people. And if you do that a few times, you've got up your 4 posts that day. If you're having a brain fart and you can't think of anything at all to post, well, just find some content that interests you and stitch it and give your feedback or your opinion of it. Okay. Super duper easy, super easy. But that 4 times a day seems to be working like really well for myself and for my clients. And then always have a call to action. Always have a call to action so you can move people over again, either to join your list or to just go and actually purchase from you. And another thing I've noticed on TikTok, they really love being invited to like a private event, whether that's in person or online. So, sometimes I'll just put a button up in my bio and I say, hey, y'all, I'm doing a private training in Zoom. If you want to get this information, get over here. I may start the first, 10 minutes on camera, and then I'll tell everybody on TikTok, hey, y'all, all right, if you want to come in here, go click that button. Other than that, bye. Right. And we can easily get 300 to 400 people over into a private setting where we can really give them super valuable information, lots of tutorials and steps, and of course, be able to offer them other programs and products and things like that. And it works fantastically. So the biggest thing on TikTok though, be yourself, post 4 times a day, and you need to post consistently. And also it's very reciprocal there. So you are going to grow more. The more that you respond to comments, the more you comment on other people's posts. And really it's very based on community. So like a lot of duetting and stitching and things like that definitely are going to help you as well.
Beautiful. I mean, what's exciting about that, right? It being so authentic is that anybody can do it. You don't have to go and buy fancy equipment. You don't have to go and get all dolled up, to go on there. You don't have to do fancy editing. You can just simply turn up, be you, do your thing. And, those that resonate with you will come. And like you say, you've then got an opportunity to be able to transition them elsewhere. Talk to me about the real benefit that you've seen in transitioning people to your list. Like you mentioned this a little bit earlier, list building being kind of key to everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about that. Why is that so important? And how do you go about continuing to build your list on a regular basis?
Yeah, so your list is your number one asset for your business, whether it is offline traditional business or an online business. None of us own any of these social media platforms. Social media is simply a meeting ground. That's it. That's the top part of your funnel. It's your awareness. And the way the algorithms work now, you're lucky if 10% of the people that follow you already even get to see your content. Okay. And then somewhere like Facebook and Instagram, they're really showing it to people that already follow you, compared to TikTok is going to be shown to new people to be able to discover you. Okay. Now, we also have no control over if we get banned, if we are suspended, if someone hacks our account, if things are shut down. That's out of your control. You don't own that social media platform. So it's really important that you actively, like every day, work on building up your text community and your email community. The reason we need both is because there's only so much you can send in text, right? Sometimes I literally will text my people like, hey, y'all, go check this email. XYZ and Elemental P is over there, right? Or I've done like some type of extended training there. So now, because you're not worried about algorithms and you're not worried about notifications, now every time you send a text or an email or you're having a deal or an event, you have your own private community of thousands of people that you can alert. And this actually results in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, compared to people that are just depending on social media. If they haven't, for instance, the way that the algorithm has changed on Instagram and Facebook, if someone doesn't comment on 5 or 6 posts, even if they followed you, you're going to fall out of their algorithm. Let's say you have a page and your page is all about fluffy bunnies. And even though people want to see the fluffy bunnies on your page, this person in particular, they also really love shoes. And so whenever they're on the Explore page, they're liking shoes, they're clicking off, the websites to go to the shoe shops. They've saved a couple of shoes. They sent a couple pairs of shoes to their friends. Well, guess what? You talk about fluffy bunnies and the Explore page says, well, this person likes shoes. So now you're no longer going to show up in this person's algorithm, even though they want to see the fluffy bunnies with the shoes, but they didn't comment. They didn't save it. They didn't send any of your fluffy bunnies to their friends. So now you've fallen out of their algorithm and they forget all about you.
Absolutely. And I think that is a message that we can't underplay. And that, when we're posting on social media, it's a place that we don't own. Like you say, it's a meeting ground. We want to transition them off of that platform to a platform that you actually own, which is your database and your email list, so that you can continue to have that conversation long term, and you're now the person that's in control of that, which is super important. And often I see a lot of business owners forget that. Right, we're so busy out there trying to post the stuff on the front end that, hey, we've built up this list of people. Don't forget about them. Remember that we've got them there, and they joined us for a reason at one point because they were interested in what you've got to say. You mentioned earlier about posting 4 times on TikTok. What is and that's obviously the optimal number of times per day, and you've given some strategies around how to do that. On other platforms, how many times should somebody be posting? Like, I know I get this often. I'm like, how many times, and how long is that going to take me? And do I have to be doing this all day? Like, that's going to take me hours.
I mean,
What are your
but
tips for doing that
I
quickly?
feel like if you have that type of mindset, then you don't want to make the money. Like, period.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
either you're gonna either pay with finances, and so that means you need to have the money to be running ads. You're gonna pay with your sweat equity or your time equity. That's how it goes in life. And if you have the disposition that you don't want to take the time to post and cultivate a relationship with your audience, then you obviously don't want to make the money that comes along with it. And that's the end of that. That just is what it
That's
is.
a great perspective and great way to look at it, because there is a cost somewhere. We're in
Yeah.
business, right? And whether you're paying from your back pocket to the likes of Facebook or Instagram or whoever to get you in front of an audience, well, you can totally do that. Or like you say, or you can spend the time and sweat equity and time and care to actually start building a relationship with your
Yeah.
audience. And
Mhm.
and which one, when you look at those two and weigh it up, which one of those is the most fruitful and the most the most fun to do?
Yeah, and
You're
I have a
actually building a
team.
relationship.
Yeah, I have
Uh-huh.
a team, but as busy as I am, I still try and answer at least 100 to 200 DMs a day on Instagram. I try and comment on anywhere from 50 to 100 videos on TikTok every day. I try and live stream at least 3 times a week still to this day. And I like being connected to my audience because I'm never, at a loss for like what to sell or what to offer. Like, so many people are reporting that their numbers have drastically halted. People's numbers are down anywhere from 30 to 70% right now as far as revenue. And I'm still just over here trucking along fine because I've built a relationship with my
Mm.
audience. And I tell people, if you don't want to put in the time, then, well, you need to put up that fiat, put your money up, and you need to hire, you a team to comment and put out content for you. And you need to pay for ads to be running on Google and TikTok and Facebook. So that way you're constantly in front of someone. That's how it works. And, I have people, they don't want to spend the money, right, to have someone manage their ads and manage their social media,
Mhm.
but then they don't want to spend the time. So in my mind, well, you just don't want the result, right? Just like, because you're not gonna beat somebody like me, because I will put in the time, I'll make the effort, I'll do what it is. And you have to understand, you're in the world competing against a bunch of Ashley Anns, and Ashley Anns don't quit, right? I started with
Mhm.
$125 on a laptop and built it into a multi-million dollar empire because I do the things other people don't want to do, and I'm consistent. You're not no one's ever going to beat me in being consistent. They're not going to beat me in putting up every day when other people don't want to put up. And that's the mentality that you have to have for your business. And I'll be honest, social media is so easy, right? When I first started my
Mhm.
business, it's brick and mortar, like feet on the street, like literally knocking on doors. I remember, oh gosh, it was probably like 50 something degrees outside. We had just moved our store to Sherwood, and me, my sister, and her best friend, we need to let people in the neighborhood know that we've gotten there. And literally for 4 days straight, we will go out every day putting flyers on people's houses, running up to their doors and sticking flyers in the door handles, walking anywhere between 14 and 18 miles a day, literally up and down hills and in the neighborhood, putting flyers on doors for our open house so the neighborhood knew we were there. So literally, if you don't have that type of disposition about your business and you're complaining about having to push a couple of buttons on your phone to post
Mm.
something, you don't deserve customers, and you don't deserve clientele, and you
Mhm.
don't deserve revenue. And that's honestly how I feel about it. And some people, they feel some type of way when I say that, but it's the truth. Us right now running businesses is so easy compared to, the way that I had to work 15, 16 years ago when I started. It's so much easier to reach people.
Absolutely. And I think this comes down to this question, right? How badly do you want it? And
Yeah.
do you really want it? Like you
Right.
say you want a business, but do you really want a business? Because what are you prepared to do to make that business a success? So I love the fact that you're talking about grit here, like having that amount of grit that just enables you to just keep going. And I think the key things that you've talked about are like just being consistent, showing up, and listening. And if we can adopt those 3 things into our life on a daily basis, listen, show up, be consistent, and really want it, like, not just, I kind of want it, I'll do it in my spare time, it'll be my side hustle. Because if it's that's the result you're going to get, is it'll be, you'll get money in somebody else's spare time as their side hustle. Whereas what you're talking about is be absolutely committed to the cause, be absolutely committed to your audience, and do what it takes to reach and communicate with them.
Yeah. And whenever it gets to posting, like I tell people, like, if you're on Twitter, you need to be tweeting 20 to 24 times a day, even if they're not all your tweets and their retweets. If you're on YouTube, back in the day, you could post once a week on YouTube and you're doing great. The kids are out here posting now 3 and 4 times a day. Okay. They're putting up 2 to 5 YouTube shorts every day. They're going live almost every day, if not 4 to 5 days a week. And then they're taking those lives, they're paring them down into smaller bite-sized pieces. So now not only are they going live, 3-4 times in a week, now they're also turning around and now they're posting up 3 to 4 pieces of content a day, compared to you only wanting to post once a month. It's not like those old school mentalities are just not going to work. So on YouTube, you definitely need to be trying to live stream at least once a week over there with your audience. And you have to be putting up a new piece of content at least once a day. If you can do 2 to 3 times a day, that's even better. The thumbnails are really important, and utilizing TubeBuddy to help you get the correct keywords so that you show up in the searches there is really going to be a big help, because on YouTube, it's all about your viewership. Like, your subscribers are good, but it's really more about how many views do you have there and how long can you keep somebody locked in. That's what's really important there. So a lot of people that you see making, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 a month on YouTube, you're going to notice that their views are insane. So that's really, really important. And of course, if you're live streaming, right, even when people miss the live, they're going to come and they're going to watch your replays. So that's highly important over there. When it gets into Instagram, realistically, you need to be willing to post 3 to 6 times a day. When we get on Facebook, you can get away with 2 to 3 times a day. Over there, LinkedIn is probably about the only app that you can do about once a day. Because if you're posting too much on LinkedIn, people are going to be like, why are they not working?
Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like LinkedIn is really more about the groups. Working your groups is where you get a lot of opportunity with LinkedIn.
And so, I mean, I love the fact that you're talking about this, because this is real, and this is the reality of the way in which this works now. So yes, there is a real opportunity for businesses or business owners to take advantage of this. But if you don't, there's going to be somebody else, another Ashley Ann out there, or another young buck who is like, I don't care, I'm going to post like every day, because the louder I can be and the more visible I can be, the more attention and the more people that are actually going to notice me. And in that crowd of people, there may be some people in there that are actually really into what I've got to talk about, and potentially are prepared to buy the stuff from me. So I think these, the things that we've spoken about today are super important, and just being absolutely committed, being consistent with what we do, showing up, like you say, you're listening, but you've also given some very specific tools that people can use to actually help them to be seen, to be featured more frequently in the algorithms, and also to be able to continuously build upon that relationship, which I absolutely love. I'm wondering, in terms of kind of like an overall strategy, because there are so many different social media platforms that people can go on. And of course, it depends on what your business is, where your audience hangs out, that sort of stuff. But in general, like now, with what with the different social media platforms that are available, if you were to pick one, which would be the one that you would say, go there? I think I know, but let's just go there anyway.
One. Oh, just one. Hard. Oh, geez, that's hard. Okay, can I answer 2 different ways?
You can.
Okay, so first of all, I will tell everybody, you number one rule of marketing, you got to be where your people are. So figure out your idea and your target audience and what platform do they like hanging out on, and that's where you need to be. That's the first thing that I would say overall. And then the second not the second answer, but the second part of that first answer is then you need to figure out which social media platform you actually enjoy the most. Because even if you got 0.0000001% of the users, you would still have, you know, more business than you can handle, right? So pick the other social media platform that you really like. Just go claim your names on the other platforms. You don't have to do anything with them. So that way you can start creating a system that's manageable for you. A lot of people are getting overwhelmed because they're trying to be everywhere. No, just pick the two, one where the ideal audience is, the other that you really enjoy being on, and post there, and you're going to start to get amazing results. Now, my second part is going to answer your question. If I had to pick one, and this is hard for me, it's hard between TikTok and YouTube, and I'm going to tell you why. YouTube has longevity. I don't foresee YouTube going anywhere anytime soon. YouTube is like the number 2 search engine in the world. People are used to long form video. They're used to going to YouTube to be entertained, for information, to be educated, to experience community. And YouTube has more evergreen format with the content. So you can put up a video on YouTube. It could be up there 12 years ago, and it's still going to be living on, attracting, bringing you new customers, new clients, that sort of type of thing. Then I like TikTok because TikTok is the hot girl. TikTok is so easy to build an audience. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it's almost like bare minimum effort, and you're able to build an audience. I picked up a little over 65,000 followers in about 4 months of effort on TikTok. And part of that was me just figuring out, you know, what was going on. And once I figured that out, it was pretty darn easy. And I also like TikTok because the audience engages with you so well. And it's just easier to break out there and find your tribe more so. I feel more so than like on Facebook or Instagram and Pinterest and stuff like that. So I'm torn between YouTube and TikTok because YouTube has the longevity, but you're going to have to fight a lot harder, you know, on YouTube to get that tribe, to get that audience. So with that in mind, I would say TikTok because you can get the people to go from TikTok to your YouTube. TikTok.
Love that. I mean, there's a common denominator in those two. Love it. But I mean, there's a common denominator in that, isn't there? It's video.
Yeah,
you know, and we started with this. Yeah, we started with, you know, making you use Restream, I use StreamYard. You know, it's utilizing these types of platforms that enable us to go live, to be authentic, to be on screen, and then you know, doing the same thing on the likes of YouTube and the likes of TikTok. So that's one thing that I think trumps all, in my opinion, and what certainly from what I've seen, and I don't know if you're the same, but I would imagine so, but that live video or video of some sort is that trump card, is kind of that ace that we have up our sleeve, right? It trumps, you know, blogs or long form posts. I've certainly seen a much higher rate of engagement on any videos than I do if I was just to do a long form post. So I love the fact that that's you know, that's kind of surfaced out of this conversation. There's been so many things. I mean, there's so much about this particular topic, right, that we could really delve into. But if we were to summarize all of this up in just sort of, you know, 2 minutes, and making sure that we also tell everybody, because I know that they're going to be watching today going, man, I want some more of her. Where can I go and get more of her stuff? She knows her thing when it comes to social media. And where is the best place for them to hang out with you some more?
Yeah, come and connect with me on TikTok.
Totally.
Hang out on IG and YouTube and all that. King Ashley. And so, of course, come and connect with me on social. But the best place to get a hold of me is in my Commerce Club, and it's 100% free. I don't ask for any credit card information or anything like that. So on social media, just go and click the link in my bio. You're going to scroll down to my free 99 section, and there's a big button there that says join the Royal Court. Okay. Click that. I'll be able to email you when I'm doing free trainings, free marketing plans, all kinds of cool stuff that we put there. So that's the best way. And then I have a gift that I wanted to leave.
We love gifts.
Yeah. So y'all know there's so much misinformation out there in these social media streets. And so I'm trying to combat it. I know I can't save everyone, but I want to share with those that I can share with. So I have a training. It's the Blueprint to Social Media Sales. It's a very intense training. It's a real training. So we're going to be together like 3 or 4 hours. But I'm actually going to lay out step by step what you need as far as infrastructure, tools, all that stuff to start making money on social media, how to build up your account with thousands of real followers, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to give a link to you, and you'll be able to put it in the show notes, and you guys will be able to come to this training for free. And it's a real training. Okay. This is not a come and listen to me talk for 35, 40 minutes about some amazing secret that I found, but you're only going to get it if you pay me $99.99. This is not that. This is the actual real training. Okay. And my goal is just to get people real information and real tactical steps to help you guys start making money.
Awesome. Well, guys, as Ashley said, we're going to make sure that that link is in the show notes. So if you've enjoyed what we've spoken about today, and you've, just, even if it's just piqued your interest about what do I need to do to either improve the social media that I've currently got, or I want to start out and maybe it's in a new platform, then you need to be in contact with Ashley Ann. You want to go over and make sure that you are connected with her. And I've popped that on the bottom of the screen. So as she said, TikTok, Instagram, all the places, King Ashley Ann, head on over there and make sure that you become a follower and a friend of Ashley so that she can continue to educate you and help you to improve your social media, your social media presence, and to help you really build your own personal brand and help you turn that into a real business that actually builds, that you're able to build your life from, that pays you well. All right, guys. So I want to say thank you very much to Ashley. Today has been an amazing conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I certainly will be going and following a lot of the stuff that she's going to be talking about, because I know that she's somebody that, has her finger on the pulse when it comes to social media. And so, I know that you guys should also do the same. So head on over with me. Let's go and follow Ashley Ann, and let's, learn from her as to what to do when it comes to social media. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest. I hope that you can come back again sometime soon.
I would love to come back. I'm super excited. This is so much fun. And, we're both on a mission to help as many people as possible, right? Achieve their goals. So I'm with it. Yeah.
Awesome. We love it. I hope you guys have enjoyed us unlocking the secrets to social media with Ashley Ann today. Thank you very much for joining us. And as I always say on the Unlocked Show, go and live your life unlocked, because there is just no other way. I'll see you again this Friday, 10 a.m. Brisbane time, for another episode of the Unlocked Show. Bye for now.